What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 29, right? 29 of Masters of the Retroverse, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're there.
And we have
We're
got,
there, episode 29.
yeah, we are there, man, almost to 30. I mean, it's funny that the show has been going for 2 years now. Yeah, we just had our 2-year anniversary, and we're just now hitting episode 30, but that's the way it goes. I think we're hitting a pretty good stride now, so let's get to 100. That'd be awesome, right?
Oh yeah, it'd be nice.
So, for those of you watching, you might notice the extra little person we have here in the fancy Modulock mask. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Amato. He is the president, founder, CEO, and the creator of Amato's Custom. What is it?
Joe Amato Custom Creations.
Custom Creations. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
There we go.
And
yeah.
I may have got the name wrong, but I will tell you his work is outstanding. It's just amazing. And we're gonna delve into some of his custom figures and talk about that. But he also is a host of another fellow podcast, Fans of Power, where they just absolutely geek out about Motu stuff, and it's amazing. I was telling David the other day. I said I was listening to one of your shows. I'm like, about 90% of what you guys say just goes like right over my head. But that's fine. I mean, I love it because I'm learning, the He-Man stuff, the Motu stuff is stuff that I'm definitely interested in. I love it mainly because I was, into it as a kid. I remember playing with it. I had a great time with it. But now that I'm older, starting to learn some of the lore of the backstories and all that stuff of some of the characters, it's just really cool. I mean, it just puts a whole new perspective into it.
Because there's a lot. I mean, you're right. There's everything from the mini comics to the cartoons to the Star comics. I mean, there's so many different types of stories that they have. So it's like you're always learning something new all the time. And then they had a lot of stories in the UK for their magazines. And so it's pretty cool. I mean, there's been so many different interpretations of things and the powers and the way the characters have been portrayed and drawn. So that's what's fun about, Masters of the Universe. You can always see something new. Just when you think you maybe know it all, you don't, and something else pops up.
And that's what's really cool that I've noticed about this line of like collectibles is the fact that there's so many people that are so knowledgeable about the stuff out there, and you're constantly learning. And like we had mentioned on the last show, everybody is so nice in this collection community. It's just everybody's just so helpful, and it's a great community.
Yeah, I think it's with Masters of the Universe, since we never had the vast amount of merchandise of, like, let's say Transformers, Ninja Turtles, and some other and Star Wars, for example, that we clamor for anything that pops up. And so when we think that, hey, we might have seen every piece of merchandise and we don't, and something comes up, we love to share, and then people love to comment on that. But usually, everybody in the Masters community, you're right, no matter what groups you go to or podcasts, they're always cool with each other because we're always trying to help each other out, because we just want to, I guess it's a way of getting a little bit of your childhood back, possibly reliving your childhood, because we didn't have that continuance of Masters of the Universe, going from the 80s all the way up until now. We had quite a bit of gaps for stuff, and at times nothing, unlike other fans of other properties that it seems like their stuff has been nonstop since it started.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of groups and people that, and just the knowledge that it's insane. I can't even explain it in words.
Because you're right. There's the fans there's some of them that are really into the collectible side of Masters of the Universe. There's those who are into the art, the comics, the stories. So there's a lot of different levels, and then there's people that might dabble into every bit, like I try to, dabble into the collecting and the stories and scanning art and finding rare pieces, but I still don't know nobody knows every single bit of Masters of the Universe. It's impossible. There's always an expert on, let's say, every part of a category, but you're still learning stuff. But yeah, that is what's cool, is there's just the different levels of, the communities for what they collect and what they like.
Yeah. So where was I trying to start out at? Yeah. So that's we had Motu Joe on, right?
He's a good guy.
And
He's a
he
good
definitely like, yeah, he's a great guy. We had him on, and he had like we saw his collectibles, and like that is the most amount of collectibles, like not just figurines, but like collectibles. Like he had like what 5, 6 shelves behind him at him. He can't hear me.
Oh yeah, easy. No, yeah, sorry, I have my mic muted. Yeah, yeah, his collection is fantastic. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, he has a ton of different.
So
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, yeah, go ahead. The delay is messing with me again.
No, go ahead. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta fix this delay. It's killing me. But so if you could just like tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you came from, you know, what you do and how long you've been doing it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I've been a fan since, the figures first came out in 1982. I mean, I've been here from the beginning, from the toys to the cartoons, and I've always been a Super Masters of the Universe fan. And eventually, as you get older, your toys are then, bagged up, put away, and then I started getting into video games, becoming really good at video games, and just other things in life. And then eventually, in around the beginning of the 2000 era, is when Masters of the Universe came back in toy form and in cartoon form, and it kind of like resurged the entrance, like I'm going to start taking out my old stuff and displaying it again. It was cool to display it with the new 2000 X figures, as they were dubbed. So it was fun to do that because I was kind of like out of the toy loop for a long time. I wasn't collecting that, but right before Masters, it was, I guess, the Simpsons line, believe it or not, from Playmates. My cousin got me an action figure of one of the characters, and I told him, I said, don't give me nothing for Christmas. He was like, no, I'm gonna get you the Simpsons. I know you like the cartoon. And when he did that, I was like, oh, Jesus, now I started collecting the Simpsons. Then here came He-Man. I was like, okay, the sickness has returned, because it was so long. But from there came, social media. I didn't get online probably till, I don't know if it might have been 2002, 2003. I had never had a computer. I think my first well, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I got on the internet in 1999 with the Sega Dreamcast. That was my first introduction to the internet, was through yeah, it was through the Dreamcast. You could surf the internet and play. But it took a couple years until I got a computer to actually start interacting with people, because I never interacted with people until I got a computer. And
Right.
then I started seeing, just different pages, different groups, different this, different that. And Facebook, eventually, when I seen Facebook, I was posting pictures of my childhood collection, because, like, all the stuff that I have, except the stuff like Titus and Megator and the laser figures that were an international exclusive, all my Masters of the Universe collection was from my childhood. I just preserved it and just kept it sacred, because we didn't have tons of money. So anything that, as a kid we got for Christmas or birthdays, or through saving money and doing chores and stuff, I saved it so it wouldn't, that's all I had. One, or it's gone. So I kept that. And I worked in a factory for X amount of years, about 10 years. And when it closed, I was like, I don't know what I want to do now, but I noticed people online are doing customs. I want to try my take on this. And I started dabbling into customs, and just, I've taught myself, through sculpting, through making card backs, the painting. I've always been one that felt funny about asking people for help. So I kind of just tried to teach myself everything. So through my collection photos that I would show in multiple He-Man groups, and through my customs, that's how I started to get, I guess, known throughout the community. People knew the stuff and some of the weird, rare stuff I pack ratted since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I would scan and keep rare pieces of art and weird things that a lot of people didn't see, like really rare old newspaper comics. And so I would share it. And I was contacted by Scott Knightlick at one time, who worked on the new Masters of the Universe Classics line, and he said that that Dark Horse was doing a special book, and it was going to be the Art of He-Man book, and if I'd like to participate, because I had a lot of rare pieces of art, comics, posters, whatever, certain things that you don't see too often, but I kept them in pristine condition. And so I scanned, I helped with that book. But heck, I even named a character for the Classics line, since I was so, there's a poster. I don't know if you guys remember it, but William George is an artist who did those big wall posters of Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
And okay, there was 4 that he did. He'd do like one every year. Well, the first one he ever did, every character on this poster was named except one, and it was this guy who's flying the Wind Raider. As a kid, I always said, "Who is this blue guy?" I always wonder, who is he? Why doesn't he have a name? And I nicknamed him as a kid Sky High. As I got older, and here came the He-Man community, and here came me with making up stories and doing customs, I started showing my Sky High story and eventually my first ever custom Sky High figure. It caught on in the fan community, and eventually, when Mattel got to make that figure, they used the name Sky High. So I was like, man, that was such an honor for me. I was like, oh my God, they used the name that I've had since I was like 8 years old. It was the coolest feeling. So that's kind of my whole kind of, in a way, quick transition of story of where I was from and where I'm at now.
Well, I can honestly say that you're the only person I know that's ever named a He-Man. And that's an honor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was cool. I mean,
that is crazy.
I mean, it blew me away. I mean, could you just picture as a kid, this is a character you obsess on. You've named him, and when you hear that name officially used for a character for when it's released in classics, I mean, it just blows you away. So
That's
that was
amazing.
just, yeah. So that was like a really cool moment for me, was for that to happen.
So since we've gone over you kept every single one from your childhood. What was your very first one that you remember getting, and when did you?
I got Beastman. I got him when the line first came out. I mean, in 1982, and he was there was something about not only the look of that card back front with the red exploding bricks, but he was a cool looking monster. You know, what kid didn't get into beasts or monsters? And I mean, from there, it just snowballed to where I had to get everything that came out, of course, through, again, like I said, birthday presents, Christmas presents, and just saving money chores, saving little bits of money here and there. But no, it was Beastman. Right. And that's the only character where I lost a weapon. I used to take him on vacation. Sometimes we'd go like, it wasn't like an extravagant, going to Hawaii, but we would go to Houghton Lake, Michigan. And they had these cool cabins. It was fun. The cool cabins. There was the lake there. There was these little parts where you can go into like a little swampy area with trees. And I'd take Beastman in there, take his whip, have him holding it, and tie it to a tree branch and swinging. And when we left, for some reason, I forgot that whip there. And so that whip's been lost in Houghton Lake for over 30 years. The only thing I've ever lost from He-Man was that whip from Beastman.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah. So thank you for telling us a little bit about yourself and everything, but there's one thing that stands out when we talk to you, and it's your mask. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
This has been, well, the mask.
It adds a layer of mystery, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like,
Well, that's the thing. The mask made its debut on Fans of Power. It was something I made years ago, but just never wore. But when I did this podcast, we finally went live to video form. I said I was going to wear it. And the reason being is from Facebook, there was one time I'd mess around with people to show myself, but it's been just an ongoing joke gimmick to where I never show my face. And it will drive some people nuts, but they know it's just a fun gimmick I'm known for. Joe Amato just never shows himself online. So
you're the Wilson of podcasting, if you know what I'm talking about.
Wilson, Home Improvement. Yeah, because everybody got excited when they knew we were doing this live. Like, oh my God, we're finally going to see Joe. And when they seen this, they said, "Damn." So this is just.
Now, I noticed you always wear the scarf too.
And it's a little trademark. I put the scarf with the mask, and some people have dubbed it the Ma Joe Lock mask.
Ma Joe Lock, I love it.
Yeah, so it's something I always wear. It's a trademark.
Even Modulock has to keep his neck warm, in the winter.
Yeah, exactly. So. Man, you get cold. You can get cold in the summer too, depending if your air conditioning is too much. But so it's the little gimmick, the scarf and the mask, and
love it, man. It's awesome.
Thanks.
So when it comes to customs, I'm not really too familiar with customs. What's the process behind making customs?
It was different. It was a learning experience for me. When I first did it, I was working with a material called Super Sculpey, which it's really good when you're using it to sculpt with and, I guess make shapes, whatever you're doing to, form things. But the negative side to it is it has to bake, at least the kind I was getting has to bake. So if you're putting that on an action figure, You can't bake it because if you put it in the oven, the figure's going to melt. So there was a different process. You could actually put Super Sculpey with the figure into boiling water, and you can pull it out, and it would be hard, but it doesn't melt your figure. Which that's something, and that's something customizers do when you might want to pop off a head or an arm or something. They sometimes put it into boiling water, makes it easier compared, and you can still use a hair dryer. A hair dryer is an easy way to, heat up the neck area and pop a head off, so you don't have to worry about parts breaking. But then I just moved, yeah. So then you move down to other things. They have like green stuff, which is a 2-part mix, and epoxies to where it's 2 parts you mix together, and then you only have a certain amount of time to use it though. Unlike the Sculpey where you could just sculpt forever with it until you heat it. The epoxy and green stuff mixes, you only have like a limited window. So you better know exactly what you're sculpting, otherwise you'll be left with a glob of stuff that turns into a rock. And I just, like I said, I just kept learning more and more as I'm doing it, different ways of, sculpting and making details. Like I said, I never took classes for it. It started coming a little natural. I still have a lot to learn. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, hey, my things are all amazing pieces. I still have a lot to learn, but like I said, it's all self-taught, and I enjoy it. It's always a learning process. Every time I make a figure, I feel like I've learned something new every single time, and I've made, probably 1,000 figures. But I feel like I'm always learning, and it's fun because you never know what a customer might ask you for, on a commission, or hell, what just might come into your mind to where you want to make something absolutely unique and hope people get a kick out of it.
So what has been your favorite one to make?
Oh, some of it's strange. Okay, like I made Slime Pit He-Man, and I wanted Slime Pit He-Man to look exactly or as close as he could to looking like he did in his mini comic appearance, Escape from the Slime Pit, where he gets turned into this like kind of like slave, this monster, and he has like a different looking face and looks angry and has angry eyes and slime dripping. And I made vintage and classic ones for tons of there's one of them. That's my vintage one. I've made classic versions also, and fans seem like that's one of my hot sellers. Is that
right there?
Yeah, and that's my vintage one. I've made a classic one also, but fans seem to really, yeah, they really get into that one because I try to make an angrier face, a different look, the slime dripping. I make the card back to where I try to do a different design and mix images, alter images to create a different type of art on the back of it, along with using images from the mini comic for the front. But I have a lot of min on card customers. They like having their pieces carded so it can go with their carded collection. So you find that a lot with fans. Some like loose, some like it carded. But yeah, there's been a lot of different projects, even some for a couple that was getting married. They were surprising each other with customs of themselves of what they cosplay as. And the funny thing was neither of them knew that the other was having me do it for them. So when they opened it live on their video, the faces that they had, it was just priceless because they were both shocked that they both contacted me to have a figure made of the other person and they didn't even know.
That's insane.
Yeah, so that's cool. But yeah, there's been a lot of favorites. But yeah, the slime ones have been pretty fun. The anti versions of things like Anti-Eternia Battle Cat and Anti-Eternia or Etheria She-Ra, that people were getting into those anti-versions after they've seen Anti-Eternia He-Man. I had a lot of fans in different versions of those. So yeah, there's been plenty, a lot of different ones.
So whenever you do, because some people may not know what we're talking about when we say custom figures. So whenever you do a custom figure, you're taking a figure, you're not making your own, and you're altering it, painting it, doing all your art and stuff on it, correct?
It's like I will, completely sculpt new parts. Sometimes it's a whole head from scratch, a whole arms. There has been times where I've sculpted a complete figure from scratch. And I guess, I shouldn't call that a custom. You could say, hey, that's your own unique figure, but it's still in a way, since I do customs, it just kind of in a way falls into the same category. But yeah, it's taking maybe one figure that's one way, and it could be pretty broken down and breathing life into it by sculpting completely new parts and making it a whole new figure.
And it looks amazing, man. Yeah, we've actually picked out some of our favorites.
Coincidentally, Jesus, as I'm stumbling over my tongue over here, Adam and I actually have the same favorite one.
Yeah, here.
Oh, let's see.
Yep.
No, hang on. Sorry.
Technical difficulties. Boots
Ah,
working.
okay. And I'm sorry. That's been another one. Battle
That
Cat.
is the coolest thing
Yeah.
I've ever seen, man. Oh my God. Why couldn't they have done that back in
Thank-
the day?
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. That was one that, yeah. And as you see, I'll make a bio for the figure too. I'll make a whole unique story of how Battle Cat came to be, or Battle Cat Man. But no, that one, I think I've had maybe 6 people want it after they've seen that because it takes time. But the difference between when I'll do these things is I'm sculpting the stuff over and over and over again. I don't do the casting. There's a lot of people that are very good at making molds and casting out pieces, but that's never been my thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking people who do that because I love what they do. But I've always liked giving every customer their own unique piece. So I can honestly say each time they get a Battle Cat Man, there's a slight difference or tweak to the mask, the armor, the something, whatever it is, because I'm not just casting out the same part every time. And that's just to play safe legally too, because you never know when companies might want to come after you or anybody if you're casting out their existing parts. But they've always said as long as you're doing one of a kind sculpting for one things, they don't care at all about it. But I mean, some companies, if they wanted to get very technical about stuff, they could go after people. And I always got, paranoid. I was like, well, I'm never going to mold and cast. But I guess in a way, it's a blessing because I like doing each one unique for each person. Give them something special.
That's freaking. They're nice. I like. This is probably This is my favorite one. And then I've actually been looking at your Sky High character,
Yeah,
eBay
now
or whatever, trying to pick. He's already like what, $120.
Well,
So
that was an old one I did. Now, when I first did Sky High, it was crude looking. It was when I first did my version of him. Yeah, he was it was when I first learning to sculpt. So, but it was enough to where at least the name and the story caught on with fans in the community where they liked it. But yeah, I can look back at some of my earlier work and think, wow, I think I've come pretty far. I still have more to learn, but I still have a
yeah.
ways to go.
So what parts on this Battle Cat, man, are pre-made, and what have you sculpted, and what parts did you use off of what guys?
Okay, well, uh, this was a cheap canvas body. I made a new crotch area. I sculpted that mask, which I'm really proud of. I sculpted the mask
Wow.
all from scratch and added all the armor details to it. Added new details to the cat face because there was at one time there was it was a random uh, it was a God, what was it? Was it Tiger Man? Oh, it was a DC character. I think it was a DC character. It was a cat man, and I sculpted new jowls to the side of his face, new fangs, new part details to the top of his head. Then when I started doing other Battle Cat Mans, I tried to start sculpting almost everything from scratch, like the whole face. Like I would take the base of a normal rounded head and then sculpt on the front of the face, the jowls, everything myself. But that first Battle Cat Man I did, I had an existing tiger head and then added to it. But I've had a couple different versions of Battle Cat Man, and with each one, I tried to sculpt more just to put more of me into each piece.
Man, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. And as for the card backs, what's fun about those is I actually make those from scratch too. That was another learning process, was finding the right kind of card stock that I would have to cut down to size, getting the right kind of paper to make the images and have it to where it would be glued to both sides and make sure it's sealed properly. I think doing the card backs was a harder learning experience than the actual figures themselves. But yeah, so I actually so when they're getting their classics figures carded, it looks like it could almost be from, Mattel because it's completely sealed. It has its own story on the back, and I just put my little logo on the back.
How do you do that though with the sealing it and the bubble? Are the bubbles already made or?
No, the bubbles are from existing ones, and all I do is
Oh,
clean
okay.
off all the paper. And then once it's completely cleared and there's nothing on it, then I adhere it. You could just get a
Wow.
streamline of a glue that you just go all around the plastic, and then hold it to press it down, and then it's sealed permanently.
It's that simple. I always thought there was some big process in doing these things, you know?
Take out the figure and play with it.
Yeah, so yeah, because there's some people they're like, could you send it to me, but don't seal it because they can put it in these cool like cases that Zolo World puts out to where you can put the figure loose with its bubble, its name sheet and everything, put it in there and it'll still look sealed, but they could take it out and look at it. So it just all depends. Every fan has a different way they want something.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about this before the show, but I'd like to get into your experience with Fans of Power and what has that been like for you over the time, and just to like so our audience can hear about it, all 5 of them.
Oh. No, it's been a great experience because I used to do a podcast called Council of the First Ones. That's when I first started doing podcasts, and then a couple years later, had the opportunity to start doing Fans of Power, and it's just been great because every episode we try to do something different. We'll try to maybe one episode cover the history of maybe the background of a certain character and it's different, their different interpretations from the mini comics to the cartoons to whatever other media. Then we might discuss a mini comic itself or a cartoon episode or merchandise. There's so many different aspects to Masters. That's why you can just keep going on and on. I think we're going to be doing episode 108 or 109 this Sunday, and we've been doing it one episode per week for 108 episodes. I mean, however many straight we've been doing. It's been 2 years straight.
2 years, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's been over 2 years, and trust me, that's just scratching the surface. You can just keep going and going. There's so many pieces of lore, and like I said, even reaching into just merchandise. There's so much to talk about that it's great because all we wanted to do was whether we have a couple fans listen, a couple hundred, 1,000. If we can just have somebody have fun and enjoy listening and just reliving some cool memories with Masters, that's what we're doing because we're reliving it as we're doing the episodes. But if fans can get some enjoyment out of it, that's all we want. We heard some fans say that they actually got their kids listening to the podcast, and one of them downloaded it. And because I gave a shout out to one of the fans, their kids, I gave a shout out to the kid on the episode, and he was so excited. He took that episode to school, asked the teacher if they could play it, and they actually let him. And I guess the principal got a kick out of it too. But I was like, wow, if you can have a new generation get a kick out of Masters just from hearing you talk, it's like, I guess, hey, you did something right.
And you guys get to say you've been played in a public school.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So it's cool. You never know who you can reach and what your podcast can mean to somebody. So it's just having fun, just trying to give some entertainment each week for somebody to listen to something.
Right. Yeah, you got to vent all of your your fanboy stuff to somebody because your wife is tired of hearing about it or doesn't care.
Exactly. Yeah, anybody in your real life when you're talking and they just look at you like, oh God, would he just shut up? And you can tell they don't even care at all. So at least you have some people that care when you're doing it in a podcast format. At least you're hoping.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So what was your favorite episode to ever record in your podcast? Or do you have one yet?
Man, all of them are just so fun because whether it's just me and Tyler geeking out or when we have a guest, when we recently had Brian Flynn on from Super 7, that was pretty cool because you could see that he was laid back with us because we're always trying to be laid back when we do the show and just have fun. And that was the first time I've seen so many people when they comment. I said, dang, that Brian seems laid back, man. That's the most, relaxed I've seen him. And so it was fun having him. We've had like people who worked on the 1987 movie on before. We had the guy who played Blade, Anthony DeLongis. He was on before. So, we've had a lot of different guests. Larry Houston, who worked on the mini comics. Yeah. And it's just, we love just having, guests on, or heck, if it's just me and Tyler doing our thing. But I don't know if I actually have a favorite episode because there's just favorite moments from each one I just have such a blast with. But I don't know if I can pick a favorite. They're all just kind of fun. I'm sure you guys can agree too. When you do your episodes, you're just probably having a blast every time.
Yeah, we have. Well, some of them work out more than others because we have so many technical difficulties trying to unscrew stuff up.
Yeah, well, and we're trying to improve, and that takes
Yeah,
trial and error
yeah.
sometimes.
Oh,
Sometimes
it happens.
we get frustrated and whatnot, but So yeah, talking about Brian Flynn, how was that? How did you land an interview like that? Is that from your connections from working with the Masters?
Um, well, I think he knows me through the community, and I just asked him. I said, "Would you like to come on?" And I said, talk about some of the new stuff that you guys are going to be putting out. Maybe about the subscription process for the new figures, and just
Yeah.
give fans maybe a little behind the scenes stuff of what goes into maybe their process of making some of their figures. And hey, there goes my phone ringing. So I'm sure this will be a part that'll be edited on your audio version.
Right.
Like,
No,
if you
you're fine.
I was like, here we go. The thing is, I was going to take that and I was going to mute it. It's going to ring one more time, then it'll stop. I was actually
No,
going
it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, now
I mean,
it's
I've got my kids always coming down, yelling
Yeah.
when we're trying to do our stuff, so it's
there.
fine.
It's
Everybody has
done.
interruptions.
All right,
I'm good because I'm out in my shop. So
there you go. Well, now it's there. It's done ringing. But no,
taxing.
yeah, well, anyway, so I asked him. I said, "Would you like to come on? Talk about the figures, the subscriptions, how things work." And
Yeah.
he agreed, and it was good because he got to mention things that he's never mentioned before in any type of format. Through whether it be his podcast, where they do that. He does a Super Seven. They do their podcast. It's a quick little thing, not really a podcast, but like a little video that they do for 8 minutes where he explains about things, and even in written format. So we just always try to bring out unique and different things and maybe pop some ideas into his head. But it was a blast having him. I mean, anytime you can have somebody on the show that laid back into where they can even cuss at times, I guess you're doing something right, because I don't usually curse on Fans of Power, but
Yeah.
he dropped a couple curse words and I was like, wow, this dude's relaxed. If you're cussing and you're the person who runs Super 7, it's like, and people like that. They're like, man, he seemed like a real down to earth character. So it's like, it was great to have him on.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
That's awesome. And I did like after that episode, I hopped on that website and checked that out. Checked out those subscription based platforms. It seems pretty legit.
Yeah,
It's
great.
coming out early next year for that. What is it? Wave? What wave was it?
Well, they still need to get Wave 1 out, and that's why they extended the subscription Wave 2, because they want to make sure fans see what Wave 1 looks like and how it's going to be, when they're finished, before, figuring, okay, now I'll go for Wave 2. So they extended the
Yeah.
Wave 2 subscription, because that originally was going to end on Halloween, Wave 2 subscription, but that's been extended. So, it gives fans more of a chance to check out the product and, get some money together to go for Wave 2.
Yeah. I wish I could have, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we found out about all these groups and I found out about all this stuff. I didn't know that He-Man like had such a vast following. Like, I just didn't know it. So, and it's entertaining, to see the community be as big as it is and as friendly, like Adam was saying that it is, and with that being said, like, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Masters of the Universe, and why have they stayed such a icon in pop culture?
I think, we remember a great time from our childhood playing those figures, and then those who watch the cartoon remember the great morals and messages that some people mock as being silly, but when you're a kid, it can mean something to you, and it still means something to a lot of people. But especially like I was saying earlier, when it's disappeared for so long and there's been no Masters of the Universe, we're holding on to all those memories. That is why I think most fans are so passionate, is because they're just reliving so much of their childhood, a thing that they haven't seen in so long. And that some people didn't even know that about the new MYP cartoon and 2000X figures. And like you said, even some people don't even know about the classic stuff right now. But these groups are popping up, and many of them are just still, they're showing all the stuff from their childhood and loving it, because there's always so many cool
Yeah,
pieces. I mean, I used to, like I said, I always showed mine, but financial issues hit me about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So that's why I haven't been showing updates to my collection or new pictures or still collecting, because I really can't. So, but that is when I was really known in the community. I was always showing pictures, something new I maybe found, but the majority, like I said, of all my collection is my childhood, minus finding some rare thing here and there. But no, it's cool. Like I said, I think that's why we're so passionate and everybody's cool to each other, is because we're holding on to something that meant so much to all of us and still does.
Have you ever had anybody criticize you for tearing apart these figures and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, somebody invited me to a hate group for customs, and
Oh, nice.
no kidding. I'm a member of it's most. I'll find the link and send you. It's like Motu Hate Custom Figures. It's an international page, but they said, Joe, just wanted to let you know that there's a hate group for Masters. If you'd like to join, the only reason I'm saying is there was one custom you did that people liked, and I think you might get a kick out of. I was like, sure. So they added me to the group, and they liked it, but then there was some customs I did, and people I know, they're just picking apart, and then I had to ask, I said, why do you hate, customs so much? And they said, because you're taking these figures that are in perfect condition, that are childhood figures, and destroying them. I was like, that's not really the case. I said, it's not like I'm grabbing a mint on card Masters, He-Man figure for $5 or $500 or $1,000 and ripping it open and doing it. I was like, I'm finding lots on eBay where it's a beater He-Man, no armor, no weapons, scuffs on his face, real dirty, and I'm getting all 5 figures for $20. And
Nice.
I'm making them into something new. People are sending me figures, and I'm taking things that maybe are missing a hand, a broken arm, a broken leg. I'm fixing them, turn it into a new piece for somebody. So when I explained to them in that aspect, they understood, but they were really under the impression that most people are taking completely great new figures and just butchering them. And that's not the case. Now, as for classic figures, that's everybody's and plus, like I said, it's anybody's prerogative. If you have a figure and you want to say, Joe, could you turn this figure into something? If it's your figure and you're sending it to me, go right ahead. You could do whatever you want. So yeah, they're taking brand new classics figures and sending them to me. But again, I mean, that is their prerogative, and it's my prerogative if I want to take a brand new classics. I mean, the new classic. When I'm saying classics, I mean the modern classics, not vintage.
Right.
So I could do what I want, but no, sure, I would never myself buy a mint on card vintage figure, rip it open and change it. I'm finding just the beater figures off of eBay, and that's what people send to me, are just beater figures. And from other lines too, from Ninja Turtles to the superpowers for DC stuff, anything, just whatever they send me.
That's awesome. Let me you want to look at some of his work here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I could even explain on some that you might
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So this one here was one that I thought was really cool. It's your Faker wall plaque.
Oh, that was fun. With this customer, I kept adding. He was like, Joe's almost done. I was like, yeah, it's almost done. Because I went above and beyond. He paid me for a certain amount, but I still add more. That's what's fun, is when I'll do these customs for people, I'll sometimes add in a lot of extra stuff, just for the heck of it. This was they only made 4 of those wall plaques. They made He-Man, Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, and Orko. And this customer said, could you make him Faker? So I had to sculpt all of his armor. All that armor you see, I sculpted the armor.
Oh, wow.
And then I said, and then I even did the Faker plaque at the bottom where it says Faker. I had to make that letter font, make like a robot chest sticker to surround it for fun. I was like, I'm going to jazz this up for him to where he doesn't expect it. And I drilled holes in the eye sockets. I put in LED red lights in back of the eyes. And then I put a switch so it comes and his eyes will glow and go away and then glow and come back.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So that just goes on and off, on and on. It's spooky and it looks really cool at night. But yeah, I was proud of that one. That was fun. The customer, he loved it. I really loved making that plaque.
All right, you got to explain this one.
Okay. I'm glad Pezanek. Okay, for this customer. All right. We're talking about merchandise. And as a super collector and others, that's one of the only few things that Masters was never lucky enough to have. We never had his Masters of the Universe, ever. So for this one, customer wanted Mechaneck, and I was like, that's the perfect first one to make. And instead of mecha neck, I'm gonna call him Pezza neck. And so the neck extends. I sculpted the little armor on the front because, again,
Oh,
when
he's
I'm
so
doing these, I try to do something different. Meaning, I've seen tons of Pez, and I've seen even customs. But the one thing that the Pez never usually has is actually details to, like, let's say, a chest. So I was like, I'm going to give him armor. So I sculpted the mechanic armor, and if you look closely, I sculpted his trunks and crotch and belt area and boots. I was like, I think
Yeah.
that would just make it look even
Yeah.
better.
That's perfect. That's awesome, man.
Thanks. That was it. And I got requests for more Pez masters after that. People were like, "Oh God, you got to do this." So I
Oh
have
shit.
I have a big list of upcoming Pez then for customers.
All right, this one was really cool. I like this one. Quicksilver.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Another favorite where I've had a couple requests. I love doing crossovers from everything from I've done GI Joe ones, the Sectars. Those are some hot ones. But I was like, I'm gonna do Quicksilver, and I did something that a lot of people don't like doing because it's a tricky process, and that's the chroming process. It's not the easiest thing to do. You got to find an exact kind of chrome paint and a way of doing multiple layers and sealing it. But I was
Mhm.
able to sculpt for that. I sculpted the helmet piece for the back and his removable mask and his belt area. So that, let me see, was there anything else? No, those were the main parts that needed sculpted. But then I just used the chroming, and then I got vintage Silverhawk wings from Quicksilver that actually fit. I had them fit into joints in his arms. That I did these like little parts where I put little holes, but it can be hidden up pretty easily. And as a bonus for that customer, which I didn't have in the picture, I did give him Tallyhawk. I have an attachment, so he actually has Tallyhawk now with it too. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, so that was another bonus I did for that customer was give them Tallyhawk. I'll do that for customers at times, just throwing quick little freebies for, just because I just appreciate, the business.
Well, I like how you did the mask too. The helmet where the mask comes off.
Thank you. And that was tricky because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a loyal subjects version. Loyal subjects are those new small little figures that are being put out. I did a loyal subjects Quicksilver for one customer, and I said I can't do the mask because it's too difficult. Then another customer asked for a loyal subjects Quicksilver, and I like fiddled. I did a way where I sculpted, had it set, then pull it off so it could harden. And I was like, please, after this hardens, please let it fit into place. And it did. So I did it for this classics version. So yeah, that visor comes on and off, and yeah, it works perfect.
That's awesome. So I wanted to tell you too, I don't know what you use for the chroming process, but I found there's a stuff called Alclad,
Okay.
ALCLAD, and this stuff is amazing. And it comes in all different, you can get like stainless steel looking, chrome, like black chrome,
Hmm.
nickel, any of that stuff. And it's a pretty easy process. You just use an airbrush, and you basically put a black base down, and
Yeah.
then you put this stuff, a couple coats of that, let it dry, and then you can actually like polish it, and it's shiny.
I'll have to check it out because what's funny is that's what I did with this. This I did a black undercoat, then I did a couple things, and like you said, a slight little buff and a polish. But I always am welcome to see different chroming process, and I'll definitely check out Allclad because I'll need new colors because I have some upcoming other chromed figures people want in different colors. I was like, all I know right now is this silver chrome. I gotta find, so I'll look up Allclad. I appreciate you
Yeah,
saying that
yeah,
because I got to make Copper Kid for somebody, and then I was going to do Monstar and his kind of like not robot, but his other form, not the one with the long hair, but the one with the kind of like spiked up face. So yeah, I got some other ones I need to do.
nice.
I'll check them
Look
out.
forward to that. Yeah, for sure. Let's do. Oh, here was a cool one. I like that one.
Thanks.
Jason.
Oh, yeah, he was. Well, I had one from part four, the final chapter that I had somebody request, and then I had a request for part seven. And Friday the 13th, besides Masters of the Universe, fans know me as being a super Friday the 13th fan. That's my other passion. Just freaking love Jason Voorhees. So I sculpted that whole head you see. I made the whole head, and I tried to make him look as close to part seven as possible under the mask. Then I, from a gumball machine, got like a little necklace that I turned into that chain that went around his neck, and then I sculpted his hockey mask, and I have it to where it's removable. I sculpted all of his outfit, his bones and his legs, his back, which you don't see, has like the back of his, back rib cage, whatever you want to call it, showing. And then I sculpted that machete. So that, I mean, everything you see over his body, I made everything over his body, his whole outfit.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Damn, that's a lot. That's a lot of sculpting.
Exactly. That's when some of them are a little more, because I always tell everybody when they ask about prices, I say it depends on the amount of sculpting, painting, and materials involved. And yeah, he took a lot of detail. It wasn't just a quick sculpt and a quick paint. I did a lot to him.
Wow. And here's one that's near and dear to my heart. That's badass, dude. Super Mario. Super Mario Bros.
And a mini comic.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, threw that in there for the fun of it. No, for this one, I sculpted his suspender outfit. The hands and the head came from a candy. It was this at Toys R Us they had these Marios that would stand like on a bucket or a barrel, and there was candy in it. And then it was just a Mario that just stood there in a static pose. Well, I had to rip the head off, do some dremeling at the bottom to make it fit to be posable on that figure. And then I took the hands off of that figure so we could have his actual Mario hands and put it on. And that's where that came from. Because some people say, well, he's got a big head. I was like, well, remember, Mario's always had a big head, even for his smaller body. Yep. I was like, so this is a muscle body with the big head. I said, but that's what they want. That's what I'll do. That's what I mean. I'll do whatever somebody asks. So, yeah, I had fun making Super Mario.
That is awesome. Have you just made the one?
I made a classics version, but I used a wrestler body, and his head looked even bigger because the wrestler body was more lean. It was a taller one. Mm-hmm. And that one I made a special sword. The star that he gets in the game. Uh-huh. Well, I took his star and made it into a sword and called it the Star Sword, and I gave it a bio and story. So that was a classics version, and it has a bio and a story of how he came to be Super Mario.
Wow, that's awesome.
Right.
All right, we got this one. Battle Damage Faker.
Oh, I'm glad you showed them. When you were asking earlier of ones that I kind of enjoyed making or usually get a lot of requests, it's him. Yeah, that one, that head was from an existing head that came with New Adventures Skeletor. Then after I made another one, I did my own details onto a He-Man figure where I started doing my own battle damage face, but I needed a good base. That one showed me how to do it. Then I destroyed his armor. I drilled into parts of his chest, body, arms, legs, and then I sculpted cybernetics. And to add a cooler detail, I actually took like wiring from inside like a phone line or any kind of wire. I had copper pieces and other multicolored, like his wiring was bursting out of his body, and fans really got into that. One person loved it so much that he had an artist commission a drawing based off of the figure that I made. He loved it so much. So yeah, Battle Damage Faker. I love making him. I even made a loyal custom small version of him. That's been a fun one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Thanks.
All right, let's see. Fuck. Sorry, hang on. All right.
Messing up the scene.
I know. This one's awesome too. That's just badass. Trap Cat, Battle Cat.
Trap Cat. Oh man, that was for a customer. He's a huge fan of Trap Jaw. He had a lot of different versions of Trap, and I made 2 of these because then I found another Trap Jaw fan that went nuts after seeing that, wanted me to make him one, but he wanted to see a version of Trap Jaw as a cat, like a battle cat. So for cool. That, thanks. So that I sculpted the Trap Jaw, the helmet, the loop on the head, the front part with like the part where he would grab as for the saddle, the detail, the actual saddle that's on his body that's tight to it with a loop for the hook. And the only part that I used then was the top seat was from a vintage Claudine figure that I popped into there. But all the rest of that saddle I made, and then of course the gun was a trap jaw gun that I put into a different little socket from another figure that I made part of his body.
What do you think about that,
like
David?
I like it.
Yeah, that's
Thank
cool,
you.
man. That's cool. That was all I had on that the pictures.
There was
Oh,
I wish I had one ready, but I don't. But there was one where I had a Christmas theme of a customer wanted something, and
I saw that too.
that one was like a favorite for a holiday time, and that was with the Wind Slayer and Knockoff, the Red-Nosed Rain Cat, and then I had Santa Claus in there, which was a Prince Adam, turned into Santa Claus, and that one was a fun one. That was my holiday one I did for somebody. And wait a second, my battery's powering off. I'm gonna have to switch to a different mode.
Okay.
We're currently having technical difficulties. I'd like you to hang around just for a few.
What's your favorite of his creations so far, David?
Mine's Battle Cat.
Battle Cat Man. Yeah, that's so badass, dude.
Yeah. What just happened to me?
Can you buy me one for Christmas?
Christmas, not fun. No.
Come on. Oh, we were buddies.
No. We are.
Just not like that, though.
What's my iPad saying? It's funny because I gotta stare right into it now. Like you see me, like, huh.
Are you eyeballing me?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, this thing that I made is pretty cool. Oh, yeah, he's back.
Well, I'm back, but I had to switch. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on, let me turn up this volume a little bit. I apologize for that. The portable device I had, I don't know how the power went out on that, but it did.
Oh, that's all right, man. No problem.
Okay, now, well, hey, from there, maybe I
Camera's probably turn on here a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way I could. I was going to try to drop you guys an image in this chat, but I don't know if that's something I could do, because I was going to show you that holiday one I did, but I don't know if I could drop that here or if I would have to do it on Facebook.
I could find it. Here, I could find it real quick and I should be able to put it on there.
Okay. And then, of course, today I showed that turtle tour that I made for one customer. He,
yeah, that was really cool too.
Yeah, he liked that.
Turtle tour, Skeletor, the Ninja Turtle.
Exactly.
That's badass. All right, let me see if I can find this here. Might not be able to get it quick enough though. Here we go. Here it is.
You put it in XSplit.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a second though, so keep talking.
Yeah, we still got you guys. If there's people in the chat room or if there's people that are watching us live. No, I apologize again for that happening. That I tried to power up my unit as much as possible. It might have been because I did a podcast earlier today too, so it might have sucked some of the juice. But
I was in your chat room for that.
Oh, you were. I mean, did you join in the chat room or?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
YouTube chat room.
Yeah, I tried to cover everybody as many as people as I could, but sometimes I was missing some of the comments and messages.
Look at Santa. Look at Santa Man.
Oh, that's the one Santa Claus I did. Is that popping up big or is that small? I didn't know if everybody could see that.
Big, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
You made it big.
Oh yeah, that one was well, in the one Christmas episode of the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special, Prince Adam dressed up as Santa Claus. So that's why he was.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. And I did a vintage one too, but yeah, I made that card back, made a fun little story for it too. But yeah, that was a good one. I want to try to find. Like I said, you guys can of course still keep talking, but
I was just trying to find that the one I did with the sleigh and everything. There was this other version I did. I just for some reason I don't even know how to go. I can't even minimize my. I was trying
I
to
like
bring
this
up.
one. I like the fact that you kept. I like the fact that you kept his eyebrows the same color. You know what I mean? As his natural hair. That was good. Good little detail there.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if that did happen in the cartoon. I thought it did, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I was gonna try to find the one image I was gonna drop to you guys in a message to where it's the Windslayer one. I just think you guys might get a kick out of it. I think I should have that. So for fans, again, I apologize. I'm just trying to quickly find it because sometimes I'm always putting things in a different spot or in a different folder. And it's there it is. Okay, here it's coming to you guys on Facebook in a message. So this is the one that was a special project for one fan.
Okay. Let's see here. There it is. Okay. Is that the one you sent us?
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Yeah, so for this one, well, I had to find how did I do the sleigh? The sleigh I found it was
Wind
like
Rider.
Yeah. Well, I got the Wind Raider. I added some new details to it. I found a pot that was like it looked like a sleigh, and then I took off the side rails of it, attached it to that, made new side parts to attach the reins that went. I put jingle bells. If you look up closely towards knockoff, you'll see. Yeah, so it actually jingle, and then I sculpted his antlers and everything, gave him a red nose, and that's my funnest holiday one. Is knockoff and the Windslayer.
That is awesome, man. That's cool.
Yeah, thanks. So that's
funny. His saddle's the same colors as fucking what is it, Night Strider or whatever, Night Stalker.
Oh yeah, pretty close. Yeah. So that's I never know what somebody's gonna ask me to do, and I think that's the best part of doing customs is I'm always surprised at what somebody's gonna ask. I usually don't turn down anything. I can't think of anything to turn down from somebody because it's always something interesting, usually.
Yeah. Damn. Crazy. I like it. I like the holiday theme too. We're obviously in the Christmas mood.
Yep. Coming up real soon.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the wife's got the TV on the Hallmark channel all the damn time. So
watching Christmas movies all day then, huh?
Already. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. Jeez, people.
So that's I see you both have some cool collectibles in back of you too, so it's always cool seeing different types of things from Masters, X-Men, or whatever else you guys have.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Mine's my Masters are all behind me, but I got other stuff and sides.
Oh, okay. All right. That's still pretty. Yeah, that's cool though. Yeah, no. Again, like I said, I appreciate you guys having me on because beyond this, I always geek out about video games. I always have a lot of old video game stories, things that I've won in contests, things that I played, and so those are the other things that I guess I got a kick out of. I haven't been in the new video game scene again, money wise, but I always love the retro stuff. I still have my old stuff, so I can always pop that in, and it always works perfect with Retroverse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually something I'm working on. That's a collection I'm working on is the Coleco sets. So we get all of those.
Yeah, that was a great system. They had some crazy games too. Time Pilot. Even Smurfs was fun. Annoying as heck, but Smurfs was fun. One wrong move, you trip, you fall, you're dead. You just hit like a piece of grass.
Like E.T., right?
What's that? Did you say like E.T.?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Back down in the pit, dude.
Yep.
So I'm collecting all of these.
That's right. Your neck gets you out. Oh, that's cool. Those little arcade machines. Yeah, those are always cool too.
Yeah, all they're all Coleco.
Oh, that's what
There's
you
a
meant by
set
Coleco.
of them.
Oh, okay. When you said Coleco, I was thinking of ColecoVision. I
Yeah.
thought you meant that.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I thought
okay.
he was talking about too. Yeah.
All of them are Coleco, so ColecoVision too. But I'm just into those ones, man. Because like I remember, I think I told Adam about this. Like they sold them in Sears. They were like $30 or whatever at the time, and like my mom would never get me one. Now I told her, I was like, yeah, hey mom, Pac-Man in the box, like perfect condition, is like obscene amount of dollars. Like you should have let me get it.
All right. Yeah, if we only knew
Yeah.
then what we know now, my God, how rich probably all of us would be with things that we have.
Right. Well, we wouldn't be because there'd be plenty of it around.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, the first thing, what's funny is by me, I remember the first thing I got video game wise that I was proud of was, if you guys remember GamePro magazine,
Yeah.
I think I remember getting issue 1, and they said send in some tips and tricks, and if they publish your name in the magazine, you'll have your name published, your trick published, and they'll send you something. And I got like a please do not disturb, but I also got this I never wore it, but I got this Game Pro T-shirt.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, so I still have it. I don't know how well you could see it, but yeah, I got this Game Pro T-shirt that they sent me, and I still have that.
Is that Street Fury?
What's that?
The Streets of Fury on the front with it, Game Pro?
No, this was. You remember the first issue just was a mock-up of nonsense. Like it wasn't. Hold on, I just want to make sure you guys can see. I don't know how well you can see, but it was a drawing of like an athlete, a barbarian, a soldier. It was just that's the same issue that if you look up Game Pro issue 1, that's what they put on this. But yeah, I sent in a tip for Alex Kidd in Miracle World for the Sega Master System, and they ended up publishing it, I think, in issue 3 or something. So that was like a highlight for me until I won some contest years later. Like so that's like that's a whole nother contest. But there's a lot of things I placed in beyond the United States, even in the world, where I was kind of ranked 1, 2, 3 in some contests. There was
holy crap.
That's I said there's a lot of stories. Some seem unbelievable until I show people the actual paperwork or items I've won or they can relate to. Then they realize I'm not making it up. I mean, there's no reason I would make it up, but there's plenty of them. I mean, the one I can at least say quickly that I got was Tyler always jokes because I always like bringing up was Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man versus Kingpin on the Sega CD.
Mm-hmm.
They had a contest where you had to go through the game as quickly as possible, collecting all the comic books throughout levels. Each time you played the game, the comic books were scattered and they were in a different spot. It was never the same spot. So you had to go through, save Mary Jane from the Kingpin at the end, take a picture of your final screen with all the stuff, and send it in. It's when I was never really thinking about could I win a contest. Well, it was maybe a month later. I got a letter from Little King and Company. It was the people that were sponsoring the contest. It said, congratulations, you've won second prize. Fill out this form, send it in, and we'll send you your prize. And the prize was a special leather Spider-Man jacket made just for that contest. And sure enough, a week later, I got it. I wore it one time to look in the mirror, and I still have this jacket and the paperwork. But it's a special leather Spider-Man jacket that was just for that contest. And that was like one of my...
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's like, because I always tell people, like, I can't price it. Like, how much is it worth? I was like, I wouldn't even know how you price something like that. It's a one-of-a-kind item.
Yeah.
I guess it's whatever a Spider-Man fan would want to pay.
Right. It's a one-off deal, too. I mean, it's,
and it's got like, and on like the arms, it's got the webbing design, and there's like the Spider-Man patch design on the back. I'll show you guys sometime. I think I posted a picture a couple years ago on Facebook, but I can send it to you guys sometime. It's a cool piece. It's like one of my, I guess, crowning achievements, I guess I was proud of.
Yeah, put it share it to our page.
Yeah, I'll
do
that.
Show everybody. That'd be really cool to see.
Yeah, I'll do it. I appreciate it.
What do you got, David?
So you already kind of told us about your experience with Dark Horse and all that stuff. What has it been like for you to see that comic grow and like what it's at now?
When you're asking about
book, the book.
Well, yeah, because they've done quite a few, which I love seeing. Dark Horse has made the Art of He-Man book, which is amazing. They've done the mini comic collection. They've done a newspaper comic strip one. They've done a compendium showing almost all of Masters history from locations, characters, and other things. So it's great to see what they're doing because every time they put them out, the Masters fans are clamoring. They want it. There's still so many other books they can make, and guaranteed every time they release it, the fans are buying them. So that's what I love seeing. I love seeing the amount of books they're putting out, the fans that are being, part of these projects, and taking a lot of time to do their scanning and research. It's just it's like a love letter to Masters fans each book they do because the fans are really a part of it. They're helping out Dark Horse with this, and that just shows the passion from every single person that does it.
Are you breaking up or am I breaking up? What's going on?
I hear you now. I don't know if you heard me.
Oh yeah, it was like yeah, the lag's killing me, man. It's killing me. It's me too. I think you have lag and I have lag, so we're lagging together.
Yeah, we're like the lag brothers or something.
And then there's just Adam watching us be like, you go now.
And especially now that I switched to this computer, which is even worse than my other device, I know it's really going to be lag. So I apologize for that.
Well, and I'm trying to talk the whole time when my mic was muted. So yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, you gotta love it, man. But yeah, really, like that's where I don't know what does the future hold for Joe Amato?
Oh, I have no clue. I just hope that I can continue to do what I've been doing. I love making, customs for people. I love helping with any kind of projects. I always like trying to keep Masters alive, whether it's a part of a Facebook group that I admin or I created. I'm always posting something for fans to hopefully enjoy. Maybe it's a cool piece of merchandise. Maybe it's a, really unique piece of art. And when I show my customs, like I said, that's all I do. I'm just trying to always just keep Masters alive. So much to where sometimes when people come to my regular Facebook page, they think it looks like it's an advertisement for Mattel and Masters. Like, no, that's just how I post. I like posting and sharing the love for that. So that's all I usually do. You're not going to usually see on Joe's wall, oh boy, I had a horrible day at work, my back hurts, or some nonsense. Boy, I'm going to have, when people just post for attention. I don't do that. I'm just going to always post something pertaining usually to Masters and at times Friday the 13th or video games. So, but it's usually Masters.
That's crazy. I don't know. I've had everything I've learned from you has been pretty freaking awesome, and I love it, and I love learning. Like I told you when we were talking via Messenger. So, yeah, man, I love it.
I appreciate that.
I hope we get some more time where we can actually build some more questions or whatnot, or find out some more about each other and do a really good episode where we're not having technical difficulties.
It was only a couple. I think it went really well. There was just
I think it's great. No, it's been fun, but we definitely want to have you on again though.
No, I appreciate it. I'd love to come back
because I want to hear more about what you know about some of the lore or some of the characters that David and I have grown to love over the years, but we don't really know, a lot of the backstories, of people like, Man at Arms and
that's me,
King Randor. No, not you, dickbag. But yeah, it'd be really cool.
Sure. No, it'd be a pleasure. And like I said, next time I do it, I'll definitely make sure my portable is a lot more charged up and I won't have to do my quick switch to the computer. That looks like it's from, I don't know, the early 1990s or something. So yeah, I'll make sure I plug something better.
Yeah. Well, why don't you, I was going to say, why don't you go ahead and tell people where they can find your work? I mean, we've plugged it quite a bit here too and on social media.
Yeah.
But
well, pretty much. I mean, just on Facebook, you can find first me is just Joe Amato, and trust me, you're gonna know who I am. You look up Joe Amato and you find me with some kind of video game. That's me, because the only other main Joe Amato out there that kind of disrupts my internet Google search is Joe Amato, the race car driver. So if you ever look up Joe Amato, he comes up. But if you go to Google and type Joe Amato Customs, I come up. But no, on Facebook, Joe Amato Custom Creations is my page on Facebook. And Joe Amato with the number 2, that's how you can find me on Twitter. in Instagram, I just go by Joe Amato Customs. So that's how you can find me on Twitter is Joe Amato Customs. I mean, Instagram, Joe Amato Customs. So those are the three ways, but mainly Facebook. Yeah, just look Joe Amato Custom Creations or just like Joe Amato, and yeah, that's how you can find me.
We'll definitely go check him out.
What's
Xbox or
well,
Xbox, PlayStation?
like I was saying earlier, unfortunately, I don't have the funds to get any of the newer machines, so I've been out of the gamer loop, the recent gamer loop, for a long time, and I'd love to get back into it because there's so many great looking games. But basically, it's me and retro stuff. I think I was done after Dreamcast and PlayStation 2, and I just haven't had the money to jump into anything after that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think you'd like 7 Days to Die, Adam. What do you think?
I don't.
I don't even know what that is, but
it's a zombie game. It was pretty cool.
The only thing
it is pretty cool.
Yeah, the one thing most people have tagged me in was, of course, this Friday the 13th game that looks amazing because I love Jason Voorhees. And I was like, wow, if there's anything I'd love to play, that would be either be Jason or Running from Jason. It looks fun, and that at least looks exciting. But have either of you played that?
No, I haven't. No.
I've watched it. I was gonna get it, but like it's like from my take on it, and I haven't played it, so I can't. I don't know if it was the beta version or whatever. Or there's the pre-release, but it was the same thing over and over again. They just put like the different things that you needed to find in different areas. So like, your goal was to get all these parts and get the car running and escape.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looked cool. At least seeing what I was watching.
Yeah. Oh, it looks freaking awesome. It looks like you can play. It looks like it needs to be a no shit arcade game though, because like unless there's other maps, you know what I mean. But it was all like Camp Crystal Lake right there, and like the movie, and
okay.
I don't, so it was like how to escape, So
maybe they'll take them to Manhattan one day, just like
maybe.
Oh God.
Outer space. Next one, you'll be in outer space. You'll be in the spaceship.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right.
All right. Cool. Well, I guess let's wrap this up. If you're watching this video, make sure you can go check us out on iTunes. We're on Google Play. You can find the audio version. If you're listening to this, go check out the video on YouTube because you get to see this awesome Modulock mask and all these characters that we talked about tonight. You'll get to see pictures of them, and I'll tell you, it's really cool and well worth it. On Xbox, you can find me. I'm XBadWolf79X, and Mr. David.
On Xbox, I'm Turmoil77, and then on PS4, I'm Turmoil 1977. 1977.
Yep.
I don't remember. And then I just want to give a couple shots out real quick because I got to say, Mr. Motu Joe hooked it up. He got me my hat.
Oh, that's cool.
When did you get that? I didn't even know you had that.
Yeah. Oh, the light. Hold on.
When did you get that, you bastard?
Today.
I hate you.
Damn, you can't see it.
Well, I think most people should know that that definitely He-Man iconic pose. They use that like on a lot of merchandise. That's really cool to see it on that hat too.
Yeah, it's like it's a no kidding patch from the 1980s. He got a lot of them, and he's been putting them on these hats. So,
cool.
I told him which one I wish I could have found. I've been like, hey man, you got a Man at Arms one? Because that's really.
Oh my God, that reminds me.
Man at Arms, man.
I've got an unboxing here.
Oh yeah, you did. So I got a surprise for you too, buddy.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. And
don't worry, my pants are still on. We're good.
You better be. This is Havoc from Toy Biz. It's an unreleased character. It was a Toy Fair exclusive.
Oh wow, boy! I remember those Toy Fair exclusives. Jesus, they were fun to get.
Yeah, I think this one was 1998, I believe, and it's still sealed and everything, which sucks because I really want to open him up.
Was it tape sealed with like a piece of tape?
Yeah, it's taped. Yeah, that's
okay. If you're clever, you might be able to do it. You could pull back and then take it out and then slip it back up. You could do it, I think.
I know. It's awesome.
He's like, just do it.
I'm thinking about it. There's a couple more too, the Toy Fair ones that I've seen that I really want. one of the guys in Toy Biz group that I'm part of is a really lucky bastard because he's got one of these with the prototype card that was gonna be for him if he was mass produced.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's nothing's been the bubbles, nothing's, it's just a fresh card basically with Havoc on it and all that stuff. Man, that is awesome.
That's cool.
Would love to find stuff like that. So then once I found that out, I got on eBay and I'm looking up like Toy Biz prototype stuff, and there was some of the drawings from some of the characters, like of how they were going to be constructed and stuff. It was really cool to see that.
Oh, that's cool. Was it pretty pricey?
Yeah, it was like, and it wasn't even anybody. Jordan Hembro from Toy Hunter.
Yeah,
he has the Wolverine one, and he's got I want to say Colossus, maybe. It was one of those. I don't know. But it's really cool seeing that. I can't imagine what he paid because the ones that I saw on eBay were going for like 150 to 250, something like that. And they were nobody. It wasn't, it would be like Rogue or somebody like that you don't really care about, I
like Rogue.
Well, I like Rogue too. I'm just saying it was one of the, well, maybe not that. It was more of an obscure character, I guess.
I just wish I could touch her.
Oh my God. Wear gloves.
That was a joke, dude.
I know.
And then here, another reference to last episode. I picked these up.
What's that? Hang on.
Mask.
Oh, nice.
Mask.
Sweet. Where'd you get those at?
There's this little store, man. Like the only little store right here in Campbell June, North Carolina, or whatever, that has a little, I don't know. They had like whoever walks in with the stuff, it's He-Man or whatever. That's all that's in the store. And I bought every single Mask comic they had.
That's awesome, dude. I love that. Shit,
yeah.
I didn't even
They're only $1. They're like $1 a piece, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yep.
Hook me up.
Yeah. I got a couple doubles, man, but it's like iffy because like they're off color and one's lighter color. One doesn't have a barcode on it. The other one does. It's kind of weird. I don't know. So
cool.
Here. Yeah. All right, man.
All right. Yep. All right. Well, let's call this a wrap. Joe, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us, man. I cannot wait to talk to you again. And maybe then we can talk more video games and stuff too. Just general retro stuff. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I appreciate it. And thanks for having me on. It was a blast. I enjoyed talking with both of you.
Yep.
Man, I enjoyed having you on.
Yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, so make sure you check out his podcast too, Fans of Power. It's really great. And you guys got a lot of really good shows on that network too, I got to say. Speaking of network, we have our network, the High Voltage Radio Network. Tons of different podcasts on there of pretty much any topic you could imagine. Just go check it out. It's on Facebook. Check out all the shows. And I guess that's it for us. We'll see everybody next week.
High Voltage Radio.
See you guys again. Thanks again.
All right.